I'm sitting in my room trying to finish writing the script for my YouTube channel, but I just don't want to do it. Today I swore to myself that I was going to work for 3 hours, that I was going to be fully focused to get the results that I want, the money, the status, the confidence, the discipline. But it just felt like an uphill battle that every single minute that went by, the work just felt harder and harder and harder. Even though I wanted the script, even though I wanted these results, it still felt hard. And after a while, I just open up YouTube and just start scrolling there, looking for a video to entertain me, to get away from this pain that's scripting. And before I know it, it's 9 p.m. and I have to go to bed. So I get up from my chair with almost a sad look on my face, knowing that I haven't really done much today. And I go take a shower, I go take a warm shower, I dry myself. And since I already procrastinated the whole day, I thought to myself, oh yeah, might as well just continue procrastinating. So I go to my phone, it's already past 9 p.m, so it's technically past my bedtime. I go into my phone and I just start scrolling on YouTube again, trying to find an entertaining video to watch. Until I crossed this TED Talk about how Duolingo became such a fun game. And I just thought like, oh, maybe if it's fun game, maybe I can connect that to my business. Maybe I can make my business fun. And I click on it, and it was almost like the video was missing. And I was actually excited to use the strategies and the tools that video gave me tomorrow in my scripting. And surprisingly enough, tomorrow I used those tactics to make my work fun, and it actually felt fun. Every single letter I typed felt like a game. It almost felt like a dopamine hit every single letter that I typed. And therefore I started doing the more work. And that day I managed to script 1 hour before school. And that same day, that same week, that's when my channel started actually popping off. It started to get 1K views, 2K views. And that was because I was actually doing the work instead of just kind of procrastinating on it. And you're probably watching this because you're thinking that you're going to learn a new tactic, that you're going to get some sort of new tactic that's going to really help you and is going to make your work fun. And I will give that to you, but I probably found something that's more valuable than the tactics. Because I'm not going to lie to you, what I realized is that the tactics are like 50% of the actual, 50% of the actual effectiveness. And the other 50% is something else. Because you can know all the tactics in the world and make your work fun, but without a reason to do it, you're just not going to do it. I remember, you might be able to relate this, I knew the tactics on how to work, and there'll be cycles where I go into my work phase and then I just stop working. And after a while, I go back into work and then I just stop working. And this was like over a span of weeks. So I'll start working really disciplined for a whole week, I'll stick to my habits. But then after a while, I'll just fall off. I'll just kind of watch YouTube videos and seek pleasure more than actually work. And I felt frustrated on why this happened. And I found the reason why this was happening, why I kept going up and down, up and down. Recently, I had this crush on a girl. Well, not recently, I've had it for a while, but I've had this crush on a girl, and I spoke to her once, and for some reason, my brain thought that if I become better, if I build more muscle, if I become more confident, if I get more money in my business, because if I get more money in my business, I'll become more confident, I'll be able to get her. And since right now I'm not getting that much attraction from women, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I buzz my hair, because before, when I had longer hair, when I had that fluffy hair, I used to get a few attraction from girls. But then after I buzzed it for discipline reasons, I don't look that good compared to what I used to look like. So I thought to myself, if I improve these other areas, I'm gonna become her #1 priority, and I'm gonna get attraction from girls, and I'm gonna stop feeling like such a loser from not getting attraction from girls. And this is a clear example of dissatisfaction, which is your current version versus the version of where you want to be. And interestingly enough, I found a way that you can actually make yourself dissatisfied, and it comes through visualizations. And I do want to tell you this, that if you don't do this, every single tactic that you learn will probably benefit you. You'll probably be able to do the work more, but there won't really be that much of a motive to do it. Like every single time you wake up tired, you're just not going to do it because there's not enough motive. Maybe when you do wake up energized, you're going to want to do it. But I want to tell you, today I literally woke up tired and I didn't want to record, I didn't want to script this video, I didn't want to do anything. But the motive of my dissatisfaction was like, if I don't, what would that crush want me to do? What would she want me to do? That's a phrase that I keep repeating to myself, like, what would she want me to do? She want me to get up and actually do the work, because that would mean I'll be able to attract her. So my dissatisfaction exceeded the amount of pleasure I would get from just laying in my bed. And it literally takes 2 minutes to visualize this, so I'm going to do it with you together right now. So let's just close your eyes and visualize your dream life, where you have like 5 unread messages from girls at school or wherever you go. Like, girls hold your eye contact that they're actually attracted to you. You're confident, you're social, you're smart, you got a business that's working, you're productive, you're actually happy that you're productive, and you got girls that are into you. You feel like you're living the dream life. And when you really add emotion and you really visualize it vividly, you visualize the exact rooms, you visualize the exact phone you're going to be holding, the exact feeling of the phone you're going to be holding, that's when your visualization really become almost like a reality in your mind. And that's when it starts to believe it, and therefore it's going to become more powerful when you really add emotion to this. Now, I want you to do the same visualization, but with your current self. Right now, you're probably not making that much money. I'm just going to give myself as an example. Right now, I'm not making that much money. I'm pretty confident, but I could be way better. I don't get that much attraction from girls. I can speak to them, but I could look better and get more attraction from girls. I could do other things, right? Like, my mom's not retired. Like, all these online entrepreneurs tell you, like, my mom is not retired. And the reason I say this is because I see her every single day wake up at 7 a.m. to work. And I remember this one time she told me that she hated her work, but she has to do it anyway. That's one of my motives, and it might be one of your motives too. So really visualize your current life as well. Visualize the pain. Like, you could be at this other area, and that's exactly the contrast you want to see. You want to see your current life compared to the life you could be living, your dream life. When you really contrast these and you can like make it a norm in your mind, or at least how I made a norm in my mind from just visualizing and keep repeating this visualization and this contrast in my mind. That's when I realized, like, my life is horrible and I could be here if I just get up and do the work. So every single morning, I literally almost visualize in my dream life where I could be with this girl, where I could be doing this. And you want to almost visualize tangible things. You want to visualize like things that you could achieve. Like, you could become more confident with these exact friends. You can become the boyfriend of this girl. Like, really, really precise things. That's when my motive exceeded the amount of pleasure that I would get if I just stay laying in my bed. And I found this is basically the foundation to just being productive and doing anything. Because I remember the time where I would just cycle in and out, kind of being productive with the tactics I knew, but then stop because I didn't really have a motive. Now I know that it's because I didn't have a motive. Before, I just thought it was like, oh, I'm lacking discipline. I just try to work harder, but then that just made it worse and worse and worse. And eventually to a point where I did get the motive. So, for example, I remember this one time I hopped in a call with one of, you would call it a sales rep for someone, and he was telling me like, oh, you're doing really bad right now. Obviously, he didn't tell me that, like, you're bad. He just said, like, oh, you're doing really bad. You could be doing this. You don't really have a clear plan. And he almost gave me a slap to my face. I realized, like, oh, shit, I don't have a plan. I'm basically doing nothing. I'm just making no progress. It made a slap to my face, and it made me realize how badly I'm working, which was a dissatisfaction. And it made me get back onto my trend. And this was exactly when I learned that, oh, I needed a motive. So I just kept going. Just to mention, when I did do that visualization and I kept doing it every single day and I kept repeating and basically making it a norm in my mind, that's when basically being productive, making progress, just became easy for me. So you can just copy me, or you can just not do it and not get the benefits. So you might as well just do it. It literally takes you 2 minutes. You can just go back in the video and do it again if you haven't done it. But if you're here anyway, here are the tactics that I learned. And one of the main tactics that the video was speaking about, or maybe that I learned, I think it was the video that I learned, it was that the best motive is progress. For example, imagine every single, let's say you put an input in, I'm going to use myself as an example. Let's say every single time I script, every single time I type a letter, I get $1 in my bank account. Obviously, that's going to be really motivating. Imagine this. Imagine you are literally just typing words and you're getting money in your bank account. That would be really motivating, and you're going to want to keep doing it, obviously. So the way I did this is rewired my mind from thinking like, oh, I need to get this, to then see that I'm making progress, to me just scripting is making progress. Every single letter that I type is progress. I think like, oh, this letter is going to equal money eventually. It's kind of hard to do when you first start to rewire your mind to think that every input you put is making progress, because I often thought that progress meant results. The results that I'm going to get, the money, the views, or whatever. But when I thought that way, I didn't really make any real progress without any doing the actual work. And therefore, I didn't get any of the rewards, any of the results. So therefore, I just didn't do anything. So it was just like a negative cycle. And this probably comes because the results are tangible. You can see the money in your bank account. You can see the views that your video got. And now that I think about it, it's almost like hammer curls, like at the gym, where every single set you do is making progress. And you've basically connected the fact that you're feeling pain to you making progress. Therefore, you keep feeling the pain, even though it's hard. And when I once realized that, I thought to myself, why not try to use this in business, where every single letter that I typed or every single input I did became something satisfying. It basically became the result. It's almost like you have this massive stone and your goal is in the middle, which is like a tiny diamond, and you have to chip it away slowly but surely. When you first start, you're going to see you're chipping away little, but eventually the more you chip away, it's basically making progress every single hit you do. It's not like the final blow that was the reason you did everything. It was because of all these tiny micro fractures that you made to the point where you just got to the center and got the diamond. And another fun tactic that I use that you're probably going to be able to use a lot, or at least I use a lot, which is like what I call just a bit more. So let's imagine this, you're working out and you've done 10 hammer curls, right? And you can probably do more, but your arm hurts a little bit. But then you think to yourself, if I do 5 more, I'll be technically making more progress than if I just put the weights down. And maybe this experience has happened to you in the gym, or maybe it hasn't, but it always happened to me. I think to myself, I can do 5 more and make more progress. So I just do the 5 more. And usually I tell myself like, oh, I need to do 5 more, I'm gay. That's kind of like the thing that I tell myself, and you can basically copy me. And I'm actually motivated to do this 5 sets. And when I noticed this made me work out more, I thought to myself, wait, wouldn't this make me want to work more? So whenever, let's say I'm scripting, or let's say you're doing your work and you're almost about to quit, or I'm about to quit, I think to myself, I'm just going to do 3 minutes more scripting and that's it. And usually I just keep going anyway. I just think to myself, oh, I'm only going to do 3 minutes. It's technically going to be making a little bit more progress, kind of like those 5 bicep curls. But I keep going, and then I just end up scripting for another 30 minutes or even 1 hour sometimes. And it's kind of like that 5-minute rule that you've probably heard of, which is like, you do an action for 5 minutes, you just basically convince yourself that you're going to do the action for 5 minutes. And sometimes getting into doing the action is usually harder than just maintaining it. For example, let's say you want to, I don't know, this is like a random example that a video said, like, let's say you want to play the piano, but you just don't want to play it for 1 hour because that's a lot. So you just convince yourself, so you technically have to play it for 1 hour because you want to learn it, but you obviously your mind doesn't want to do that. So you convince yourself that you're only going to do it for 5 minutes, and then you start playing the piano, you start having fun, and then you realize, oh, this is actually fun. And then you end up playing the piano for 1 hour. This is the same with your work. You just tell yourself that you're only going to work for 5 more minutes, 2 more minutes, even just write 1 more sentence, and you're technically making more progress. And therefore, since you're making more progress, your brain would just want to continue anyway. And something that crossed my mind is, I hope I am explaining this correctly, and if I'm not, you can just ask me a question in the comments if you're not understanding anything. But it just crossed to my mind that most people just finish the video right there. Like, let's say I told you the tactics of, oh yeah, you need to make your work fun, you need to just do a little bit more. And now, I don't know, there's just a random thought that came into my mind. Most videos will just end there and just kind of let you go and you do your own thing. And it reminded me of how annoying that used to be. I used to think like, but how do I actually apply this? So that's why this is a side point, but that's why I always make my videos so actionable, that I literally give you exact things to do. For example, at the beginning I told you to visualize. I told you that right now I'm going to tell you the exact tactics that you're going to use, and it's going to use through visualizations as well. I don't know, I just hated it when people just like kind of gave you the tactics and didn't give you any specifics. So I do want to do that because I do want you to learn and actually change your behavior based on the knowledge that you're getting, not just mindlessly consuming this video and not really learning anything. So I'm not sure if you know how powerful visualizations and imagining things in your mind is. So let me just give you this. For example, what happens when you visualize a sexual image? What happens when you visualize porn? Your dick gets hard, right? You didn't stimulate it. It's just like your mind reacted to what it saw in your head. So you saw that a sexual image, you saw a sexy body, and then your dick got hard because of it. That is the power of visualizations. It literally reacts to what you see in your mind. And let's imagine this, okay? You really close your eyes, or you can just visualize this. You really close your eyes and you think to yourself, you've just gone back from school, or you just woken up and you want to do some work, right? You want to work on your business, you want to start making money, you want to start getting more confidence. Let's say you sit down on your computer chair and you're kind of forcing yourself to work, but you just think to yourself that, oh, if I work, I'll get the results. So you sit down on your computer chair and you open up your document, your Notion page or whatever, and you try to start working, but you still don't want to work because you're telling yourself that I hope you're visualizing this. You tell yourself that you're going to work for 3 hours, but that's just too much for you. So then you think to yourself, oh, I'm only going to work for 10 minutes. There's a bonus that I forgot to mention, which is working for only 10 minutes. Like the 5-minute rule, but just using it on your work with 10-minute rule. That's kind of like the one I use, where I use 10 minutes. I'm going to tell myself that I'm only going to work for 10 minutes, and you visualize it. Let's say you're visualizing this. You say to yourself, oh, I'm only going to work for 10 minutes. And your brain's going to think, oh, that's easy, and I'm going to be making progress. Why wouldn't I do it? And usually getting into the flow of it is harder than actually just maintaining the flow. So you're just going to want to continue working. And let's say you've been working for 1 hour right now. You've been sitting down for 1 hour and you look at the clock and it's 8 a.m. and you feel, wow, I've been working for 1 hour. I feel great. But slowly and surely, your work starts to become almost like a chore, almost like an intrusion. So you convince yourself that every single letter that you're typing or every single input you're putting in is you making the progress, is you making the money. I'm not sure how I exactly did this, but you really just want to convince yourself. You don't just want to tell yourself, oh, if I type, I'm going to be making progress. You really have to believe it. You have to think, oh, me typing means I'm going to be finishing the script. If I finish the script, that means I'm going to be getting views. If I get views, that means money. If I get money, that means I'll get my dream life. So you really have to make that connection, and you really have to believe it to really make typing fun, and you have to make it in norm in your mind. Most of this is just basically making things normal in your mind to therefore just reenact in real life. And now let's say you keep working, and now you've been working for 2 hours and it's 9 a.m. and you feel amazing. You've been working for 2 hours. Usually you work for 30 minutes and then get distracted with a YouTube video. And now you're happy, but you're kind of losing the momentum. You're kind of feeling a little bit bored. Your mind's wandering. You just don't really want to work anymore. Even though it's kind of fun, you just don't feel like it. You just tell yourself that you're going to work for 5 more minutes. You just say that you're going to, I hope you're really visualizing this. Continue visualizing. You're literally closing your eyes and you visualize sitting in your desk, working for 2 hours and thinking to yourself, oh, I want to quit right now. But then you think to yourself, I'll just work for 5 more minutes. And you just start typing away and it starts feeling a little bit more entertaining because you think, oh, if I only work for 5 minutes, I'll not only be making progress, but it'll also be kind of easy. So you just keep typing. And before you know it, another hour, another 30 minutes have passed. It doesn't have to be that much. It doesn't have to be like you working for an extra hour. Even if you work for 30 more minutes, that's still a benefit. Imagine if you work 30 minutes more every single day for the rest of your life. Imagine how valuable that is. Let's just do the math, for example. 30 times 7, which is 1 week. Let's say 21. I'm horrible at maths at the moment. And then you multiply that for 4. And then you multiply that by 12. That's how many minutes you'll be working every single year. Imagine how valuable that would be for your business model. Imagine how valuable that would be for you to start making money. And when you do apply these lessons and these tactics, I'm telling you, work becomes so easy and so fun. Imagine that. Literally, your work feels so fun, so easy, that you want to do it all day. That's the point where I've always heard like multi-millionaires say that, oh, you need to fall in love with the game. You need to make it fun. But I never really knew how. And these are some ways that I found to make myself more productive. And it's been basically the main lessons that I've learned. And you might be wondering, why am I giving this all away for free? Shouldn't I be charging for this? And yeah, fair enough, I could. But I really wanted a video like this when I was trying to be more productive and just kept getting into these mental ruts where I just stopped working and then I worked again and I stopped working for months and then weeks and then I needed to get a slap to my face from a sales rep to tell me that I'm working really badly. All of this. So if you did find some value in this video, I do have a paid coaching which is hosted on this new site called School. You can just go check it out. It will be the maybe first, second, third link. I'm not sure how I'm going to set that up. Probably the first thing in the description will be that School link. You can just go check it out. You don't have to buy it if you don't want. You can at least check it out. And my promise is to basically make the work that would take you usually 1 week for you to do in 1 day. And I know that sounds crazy. You might be thinking 1 week in 1 day. But I'm not going to lie to you. I've gone in those days where I've literally done a whole week to work in 1 day. It might sound crazy, but it's my promise, and you can just go check it out. You don't have to buy it if you want. You can just go check it out. And if you do still want my help, you can DM me on Instagram. You can just DM me any problem that you have related to productivity, related to habits, basically habits and productivity. And you can just send me a DM there. And Instagram DMs are completely free. You can just DM me something, and if I help you, then it's a win-win for both of us. I gain knowledge, you gain knowledge, you improve your life. So if you do want that, I'll see you in there.